Dear Toastmasters and guests, warm good evening. Good evening. I am Toastmaster Arun Manigandan, shall be the sergeant at arms for this meeting today. The mission of Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skill, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. As a protocol of Toastmasters International, you are requested to keep away 3 taboo topics: sex, religion and politics during the meeting. Further, I requested to every one of you switch off your mobile phone or put them in silent mode to avoid the distraction. Also, you are requested to be seated comfortably until you are called. With this note, I call up our VPE, Deepak Joseph, for the day's opening address.
Division contest, you can give a small brief about division contest, how it was. You were there, right?
I was there only for the first half. Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Okay. So, last week, from Friday, we have a division contest, which was held at Khalifa University. So, one of the major events of Toastmasters in the region. And Toastmasters from Alain and Abu Dhabi were attending the contest. And it was a very wonderful event. You would see all experienced people delivering high quality speeches over there, as well as you can see how well organized the event was. It was a good location for everyone, it was a proper ambience was good and the location was also good, and we had a proper feel of a competition. The stage was well organized and everything. The initial competition, what I attended was the international humor speech, and humor speech. I think almost 6 contestants were there, and each and every speech made us made us break into laughter each time. It was very good. You could see how a humorous speech is delivered over there. It was well delivered, and it made each and every audience laugh. So we had a dialogue match over there initially. Wherein all our clubs, each club will be represented by the president of the VP Education, and we will be holding our banners and we will be having a march showing the unity of all India. So that's what happened over there, and then because of some personal reasons I had to leave after the event. So anyway, today Shahnawaz will be the captain of the ship, and he is having the theme of the meeting as planning and preparation. So this is his first, this is his initial step to in the as a team, and I wish Shahnawaz all the best. And with this note, I open the meeting 177.
It is very disappointing, very few, lot of seats are there. So, there is a proverb saying that he who fails to plan, he plans to fail. So, dear Toastmasters, good evening.
Good evening.
So, I am Toastmaster Shahnawaz, and this is my first time as TME. So, actually, when I started thinking about becoming the Toastmaster of the evening, I know I am doing for the first time, so I need a lot of preparation. So when the thought of theme came into my mind, immediately I thought, yeah, preparation will be a good thing. So we need to do some planning also. Before we prepare, we need to do some planning also. So planning and preparation. So that is the theme for today. Okay, and today there is no guest, so there is no introduction to guest. So And this month, the month of April is a month of preparation because the new academic year is starting, and for companies, new financial year is starting, so the people are setting new targets for the financial year, and the kids are preparing for the new academic year. So like that, all the preparations are, lot of preparations are happening during this month. Okay, so this will be an appropriate theme, I think, for this month. Every preparation needs a lot of proper planning. Without planning, we will not be able to prepare, and we cannot do what we are going to do. So, before going more, let me introduce our role players. Our first role player is timer. Let me call Toastmaster Arun Mangadan. Can you please come forward and explain your role as a timer?
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
My role as a timer to monitor time during the prepared speech, table topic and evaluations. At the end of the meeting, I will report the time of each participant. This will let you know if you delivered your preparation within the allotted time. Thank you.
The next role is the role of accountant. Our Toastmaster Deepak Joseph is doing this role. Let me welcome Toastmaster Deepak Joseph to explain his role.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The purpose of R-counter is to note any word or sound used as crutch by anyone who speaks during the meeting. The words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, as, well, but, so, and you know. Sounds may be You should also note that when a speaker repeats the word or phrase such as I, or this, all these things will be noted. So my role will be, I'll be keeping a note of all these things, and I'll be giving you a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Next is the role of word master. Our Toastmaster Charles was supposed to do this role, but unfortunately he is not there. So I will introduce the word. Today's word is inscrutable. The meaning of the word is incapable of being investigated, being analyzed or scrutinized. Another meaning is not easily understood or mysterious. That is the meaning of this word. So please try to use this word as much as possible during your speeches. So we will note down the. I will myself note down the.
Okay.
You will note.
So if you can, explain the usage so everybody will understand, how you have anything. This word, how you use in a sentence. Someone can, please.
Okay.
Well, I can
So it will be easy for others to.
I can say that a lot of research has taken place throughout the history of time, but people have still found the mind of a woman extremely inscrutable. That's a
very good example. Thank you, Toastmaster Shiraz. The next role player is the table topics master. So our Toastmaster Naufal is doing this role. Can you please come forward and explain your role?
Good evening, Toastmasters. Good evening. My name is Naufal. I am your table topic master for tonight. This is a fun portion of the meeting. It allows us to practice our impromptu speaking skill. And table topics allows every member who does not already have a speaking role to speak at the meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Naufal. The next role is general evaluator.
So this quiz is cancelled.
This is cancelled, yeah.
No response.
Anyone? Can take the role?
Anybody can do it.
You can? schedule.
We're anyway late.
You are table topic also?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's free then.
Okay. So our Toastmaster now will be doing the role of Quizmaster. Can you please explain your role?
Good evening once again.
Good evening.
The Quizmaster job is listen to carefully to all speakers and note down some questions from the content speeches, table topics, etc. The purpose is to work on one's listening skill, prompt importance of those, and have a report at the end of the meeting.
Now let me introduce the general evaluator. Our distinguished Toastmaster Theo Anthony is doing the general evaluation. He is working in Dubai recently. Yeah, he just changed his job, so he is coming from Dubai.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Being a general evaluator today, my role is to evaluate the whole meeting from the beginning. So that means I have already started my evaluation and I'll be submitting the report at the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you again for all the role players for introducing their role. So now let me continue with the theme. So we told that proper planning and preparation is essential for obtaining best results for the task which we are going to do. There are a lot of advantages if we plan properly. Firstly, the planning process forces you to organize your thinking and identify the key issues which we need to address during the task. Another advantage of planning is it will enable you to plan your actions carefully before you begin, so that you can take corrective actions for if there is any mistakes, and in that manner you can save a lot of cost. Another thing is you can identify potential flaws in your approach and fix errors that could be fatal to the company later, in the later stage. Again, proper planning enables you to identify weaknesses in your plan, and it will make provisions to compensate for those weaknesses. Also, it will enable to identify the different strengths and potential opportunities that you can take advantage to increase the likelihood of success. Another benefit of planning is that it enables you to focus your time and money and concentrate all your resources to few key objectives that you must achieve to make the project successful. Finally, the proper planning will save a lot of hours, weeks and months of confusion, mistakes. In that way, it will save a lot of money and energy. Now, let us move to the next part of the meeting, the prepared speeches. We have 3 speeches today, including 1 icebreaker speech. So, before going to the speech, let us check with the timer about the timing rules for the prepared speech. Toastmaster Arun, please can you explain the timing rules for speeches?
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The timing rules: advance speech 2, allotted time 20 minutes. 18 minutes the green light will be appeared and 19 minutes the yellow light and 20 minutes red light until the speaker finishes speech.
So it's 20 minutes speech.
Below 18 is disqualified.
No, actually below 15 will be disqualified. But let us keep 18 as a target. Otherwise you don't learn anything. So if you leave 5 minutes as grace period, then what's the point?
Right.
But is that laptop ready?
And
Yeah.
project speech 3, 5 to 7 minutes, 5 minutes green light and 6 minutes yellow and 7 minutes red and 30 seconds grace period. Icebreaker allotted time 4 to 6 minutes, 4 minutes green light, and 5 minutes yellow light, and 6 minutes red light, and 30 seconds grace period. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arun, for explaining the timing rules. Now we will go to the speeches.
One doubt. This timing is as per like a new pathway. Pathway timing is same or? You are doing your ice breaking from pathway or normal track?
No, it's actually
Pathway is the same time.
common. I said icebreaker is common for
Timing is
Timing is
same.
same.
Wow, that is fine.
for tabletop server. I think it was.
Yeah, I don't have any idea about because we need to learn from all our players now. Because pathway, I doubt there will be some changes. Okay, you just continue.
Okay. So let me introduce our first speaker, Toastmaster Puran Rai. He is doing his advanced speech today. He is from Nepal and he is working in UAE since 2010. He is working as a business development manager with a security company. Today the subject of his speech is Butterfingers. So let us welcome Toastmaster Puran.
So he has to before that manager.
Yeah, okay. So the speech of Toastmaster Puran Rai is being evaluated by Toastmaster Ramraj. So let us check with Toastmaster Ramraj for the evaluation criteria.
Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmasters, good evening.
Good evening.
Today's speech speaker, project number 2, advanced speaker, Toastmaster Puran Roy. The objectives of this speech is entertain the audience through the use of humor drawn from personal experience and from other material that you have personalized. Deliver the speech in a way that makes the humor effective. Establish personal rapport with your audience for maximum impact. Time allotted is 15 to 20 minutes. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Now, Toastmasters, please welcome Toastmaster Puran Rai for his.
I was sitting in a restaurant next to my office, having tea with my office colleagues. Directly opposite me was my PRO, sitting with in his white bandura. Sometime during the conversation, the glass of tea I was holding in my hand slipped, broke, and the contents spilled on his dress. He jumped from his chair, dusting his dress, visibly annoyed, although he said, "It's okay." But I wasn't worried about him. I was more worried about the owner of the restaurant, because this was the 5th glass I had broken there. And my fear was that someday he may refuse to serve me tea, or may insist that I have my tea in a paper cup or a plastic mug. And these days I've also noticed that whenever we're having a meals outside in a restaurant, a PRO or voice sitting directly in front of me or anywhere near me. And if he cannot avoid it, his eyes are always focused on my hand. Should I do something? Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmasters. How many of us have heard the term butterfingers? Well, butterfingers generally means that your hand is like coated with butter, and whatever you try to hold or grasp slips through and breaks or gets damaged. But the real meaning, I think, is clumsy. And I've been known to be clumsy from a very young age. And there are many situations where my hand has embarrassed me. And there's few I remember because of the scale of embarrassment. I want to share some of these incidents with you today. One was many years ago when I was in college. We wanted to celebrate the New Year's. So we were out in a restaurant, drinking, eating, making merry. But I come from a very cold place where most of the restaurants close early. So around 10:30, the owner of the restaurant walked inside a cabin and said, "Okay guys, time to shut down." We were all disappointed. We requested him, but he was adamant. So we had no choice but to go out somewhere, walk around, and around midnight celebrate. So we decided to buy a bottle of whiskey. But of all the people, my friends asked me to carry it. So I said, okay, I'll try my luck. Now the place is so cold, we used to wear layers of clothes, so cold. We wear a sweater, and on top of a jacket, overcoat, monkey cap, muffler, gloves, quite nice. So I was carrying the bottle inside like this, and we went out, walked around, singing, dancing. And around midnight, we came to a park, so we decided to sit there and celebrate. So one of my friends walked over to me and said, pass me the bottle. I said, okay. I unbuttoned my overcoat, took the bottle like this, and passed it to him. But somewhere in between, the bottle slipped from my hand. And after an eerie silence, landed on the ground, exploded, announcing the arrival of the new year. There was a momentary silence of disbelief. Then the friends realized that what had exploded was a bottle of whiskey. Then they jumped and started screaming and shouting and cursing. You should have seen the firework to each individual. And I think the firework was more impressive than the one I saw in Burj Khalifa. Everyone cursing. But I spoiled a wonderful evening. That New Year's Eve I can never forget. I can still hear the sound of the bottle landing on the ground and my friends cursing me till today. The other time was also during my college days. We had a dramatic troupe. We used to call ourselves Polaris. We used to organize plays and dramas in school and in college. One of the plays, I still remember, it was called Sleuth, which had only 2 characters. It became so popular that we were invited by 2 clubs in the Tata Steel city of India called Jamshedpur. One of the club names I still remember was Beldi Club. We went there, performed, it was a big success. So on the way back, we wanted to give ourselves a treat by staying overnight in the city of Calcutta. Calcutta then was famous for its nightlife. Bars, discotheques, cabarets, so we wanted to go and have fun. So in Calcutta, in the hotel, before coming out, we all got dressed up, all excited, and we looked at the budget. We found out that we had enough money to buy 7 to 8 bags of good whiskey, good snacks, and dinner. So out we came, we walked into a bar called Minan Bar, I still remember. Went straight to the bar, settled ourselves on a high stool. We were still in college, quite excited, wonderful atmosphere. I still remember I was sitting on the extreme left, and 6 or 7 of my friends were on this side. So we ordered for whiskey. When the whiskey arrived, we wanted to toast to a successful trip. So we all raised a glass to toast. And in that excitement of toasting, I didn't realize that my left elbow had encroached on my neighbor's territory and managed to topple his glass along with his drinks. I said, oh no, not again. I felt horrified. I couldn't look at him, I looked at my friends, and they were looking at me, horrified too. So I slowly looked at my neighbor. He was slightly drunk, and he was looking at me like this. So I said, sorry. But the way he looked at me meant that sorry was not going to be enough. And unless I buy him that drink, he was going to be in trouble. And we were in a foreign city, we didn't want trouble. So I had to ask him what he was drinking. So I said, meekly, so can I offer you a drink? What are you drinking? But I think he took advantage of the situation. He asked for a very expensive drink. Now in the process of buying that drink, our budget was cut down from 6 to 7 bags to 1.5 to 2 bags. And you should have seen the disappointment in my friends' faces, because my hand had done it again, spoiled a wonderful evening. And I can never forget the earful I got on the way back to my room. I still hear it till today. Now over the years, somehow my wife, my dear wife, has come to terms with my bungling hands. So whenever we go to a restaurant or a friend's house for lunch or dinner, the first thing she'll do is she'll make sure that any item that can break or spill are at a safe distance from me. And during the course of the meal, if I want to go for a second helping, or if you want to stretch for a glass, or a plate, or a fork, anything, she'll quickly take her hand like this, stop me from doing it, and she'll do it for me. And throughout the course of the meal, there'll be running commentary from her, giving me warning, watch your hand, you're pulling the tablecloth. I'm going to topple that glass, I'm going to drop that plate. But when she's not around, I keep the scoreboard ticking like the glass I broke in the restaurant. I've also noticed that my body, my hand has some extra qualities. I think it has some magnetic powers. I still remember my sister scolding me when I was small. You have thorns on the backside? The reason being that whenever I should get up from a bed or from a sofa, I would always leave the bed sheet or the sofa cover crumpled in the shape of Hurricane Katrina. Even till today, I still leave it crumpled, but my wife has some other terms for that, and I cannot share that with you. I've also noticed that my hand has some magnetic powers. Because whenever I leave a glass or any item on a table or on a shelf, I can tell you, I'm sure I let it go. But somehow it comes following my hand. Sometimes it drops on the floor or shakes vigorously, spilling the drinks. I have to put it back again. Sometime back, I come back from office and I wanted to have my favorite Darjeeling tea. So I asked my wife, "Can you make tea for me?" She was busy doing something. She said, "You make it yourself." Okay. I said, "Okay, I'll try my luck." So I put the water to boil in the kettle. Then I stretched on the shelf to pull down the container that had the leaves, tea leaves. I don't know why it's leaves, I had to put things all high up there. Anyway, I managed to bring it down slowly, open the lid, put the leaves in the boiling water, put the lid back, so far so good. Then I put the container back very slowly, put it back, and I'm sure I let it go. But as soon as I turned around, the container came following my hand, crashed on the floor, leaves spread all over the place. My wife jumped from my chair. "Oh my God, you have clumsy hands, when will it improve?" And I told her, "I told you to make tea for me." Now, during the winters, my mom normally visits us. So it was one of these winters. We were having breakfast in the morning. So my wife was busy preparing breakfast in the kitchen, facing the other way, and I was trying to help her by laying out the table. So my mom was here, my daughter's here, my place here, my wife's place here. Then my wife said, "Why don't you pour this juice in the glasses?" So I walked inside the kitchen, took the juicer, came to the table, put the juice in each glass. Kept the juicer, while placing the last glass and then again, some magnetic force from my hand shook the glass vigorously and some contents spilled on the table. My mom gave me a knowing look because she knows my handwriting. But I had to wipe that spilled drink before my wife sees it. So I walked back to the kitchen. She was facing the other way. Tablecloth was on the left side. I was distracting her attention, trying to retrieve the cloth. I tell you, these ladies have a 360 degree. Otherwise, how the hell can see what's happening behind her back? As I was retrieving the cloth, she murmured. Normally she would have shouted, I think, because my mom was there. She quietly murmured, "You've done it again." So friends, I have done a little bit of research on these clumsy habits. And I have found out one thing, that I'm not the only one who suffers from clumsiness. In fact, there are many other people too. And some of them are celebrities. Some of them have seriously injured themselves because of the clumsiness. You know, whenever I walk in a staircase, there are many times I miss a step or two and I stumble. But I've been lucky, there's been no serious injury. But I've seen some people who have seriously damaged their face. I think you all know that one of the famous actors who glamorized clumsiness is Mr. Beans. I think it's made kind of an art form. So, in my research, I wanted to find out that what are the causes and what could be the cure for this clumsiness. And I would like to share some of the things which I've discovered. And I think more than me telling you all, if you read this, this will be more interesting. Cause of clumsiness, what does it say? What the study suggests is that what has caused the movement of clumsiness is essentially a moment of distraction. Consciously or unconsciously disrupt the conversation between your muscles and brain, which results in a body not doing what it's supposed to do. Equilibrium and balance system processing problem hinders a person's ability to create a plan for what's about to happen next, like stepping out of the way or paying attention to that street lamp or missing the steps of a staircase. I've seen famous celebrities bang their head on the lamp post by walking like this, or missing the staircase and falling on the ground. So what could be the cure? I also studied on that. And it says that if you're looking to curb your clumsiness, before anything, make sure you had your eyes checked, are sober when the tumbles occur, and have adopted a regular exercise regimen to improve stability, strength, and then looking into exercises to improve mindfulness and reduce anxiety, whether that's through a physician therapist or scoring through the internet. This is something I've read. But I found out that there are no good news for us, because according to science, anyone who's clumsy is simply that way because they were born with those tendencies. Means you remain clumsy forever. But there's some kind of solace for us, and that is, this does not make you a lesser being, and there is nothing wrong, just a slower processing speed and reaction time, as well as lower visual and verbal memory performance, according to Charles Birch, University of Delaware. But the bad news is, unfortunately, there's no cure for now, but there are exercises that can be done and ways to curb it. I think yoga and meditation can help, which I've tried. So I want to share with you some of the photos which I get involved in. This is one thing I do quite often. So nowadays what I do is whenever I have tea on my table or any drink, I make sure that there are no important documents on the table. This is what I just did to the PRO, and this is a regular one I keep doing. This is what I was talking about, getting yourself injured. See, missed a step or two on the staircase and landed on her face, and that looks awful, doesn't it? Fortunately, I have not had this kind of injury till now. Now here's a good one. Stress makes your hands, I think you bring butterfingers in your hands. And this is something which is quite embarrassing, I think, when millions of viewers are watching this. This is another case of butterfingers. This one I saw recently, a match between Real Madrid and Juventus. My favorite team is Real Madrid, and my favorite goalkeeper simply spilled the ball, not the beans, but the ball. And it was quite an embarrassment for him, an A-class goalkeeper. This is what stress does to you. So stress is also a contributing factor to your clumsiness. I think it runs in the family. This is my daughter during a recent dinner. She spilled everything on the table. So I was saying, you're catching up with your dad. Yeah. Well, this is my favorite. It says, if you fall, I'll always be there. Floor. So friends, I have an open invitation for you all. If you want to join the Clumsy Club, you'll all get a CC badge. And there are no fees. It's for free. The only criteria for membership is, of course, you must have broken that number of glasses or that number of plate to qualify to be a member. And it's a lifelong membership till you stop breaking things. Over to you.
Thank you to our first students for the interesting speech. Now, we will move on to the next speaker. Our next speaker is Toastmasters Shiraz Aghwani. He is doing his speech, project number 2. He is from India and working in UAE for the last 10 years in oil and gas industry. His hobbies are traveling and watching movies. Now, Toastmaster Shiraz is being evaluated by Toastmaster Vivek Ayyappan. Let us welcome Vivek Ayyappan to explain the criteria for evaluation.
evening.
Toastmaster Shiraz Agwani today is going to repeat his previous speech, which is already evaluated by Senior Toastmaster John Thomas. And his speech title is Navigating Fatherhood Again. So the main objective is to demonstrate the improvement points which is already suggested by previous evaluator. And Toastmaster Shiraz Agwani will be concentrated that improvements, and he will explain and deliver his speech today. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek, for explaining this role. Having a child brings a lot of changes to our lifestyle. And if we have a second child, it will bring again more changes and challenges. So, Toastmaster Shiraz is going to explain an interesting story about this navigating fatherhood again. Let us welcome Toastmaster Shiraz.
As a first-time father, I was scared of things that I did not know or did not understand. As a second-time father, I was still afraid, but of things that I already knew and fully understood. The same sleepless nights, long crying spells, and fighting with the wife. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, we don't have guests. I'm here today to share my thoughts, my experiences on navigating this journey of being a father. Not the first time, but the second time. Well, as a journey, as experiences about fatherhood, my core audience today are men, and I don't see any women anyways. But they were more than welcome to appreciate the male perspective. We all understand parenthood or fatherhood is actually a roller coaster. It has its ups and downs. We fully understand that, right? And that's what I experienced myself when I became father the first time. But on the second time around, this roller coaster had transformed into a skydiving experience. And like that was a lot more than what I had bargained for. I was probably not mentally ready for that kind of a extreme situation. I'll just give you some context here. Well, we're an average expat, nuclear family. There's not, we're a small family. So where does my wife reach out to when she needs any help to support on my child number 1, child number 2, or herself? It's me, right? That's the only place you can reach out to. We don't really have the means to provide the kind of care that she would receive back home among her family and friends. Now, with this happening, there's obviously the challenges to provide that additional care and also be at the receiving end of all her frustrations. Because when she is constantly tired and when she has sore muscles and when she is always covered with these bodily fluids of the two children, and when she needs a break, all her venting is who is at the receiving end? It's actually the husband, which in this case happens to be me. Okay, so with this context, let me just move forward into what are some of the not so pleasant consequences of this happening to your life. First one is, of course, you see that nothing in your life is simple anymore. I used to be a stickler for punctuality. People used to make fun of me that I used to show up places before time. Doesn't happen anymore. I have no control over when I leave the house now. That's the first change. Second, simple things like sleeping, having a good night's sleep is a luxury now. Now, me and my wife, we both had dark circles for a long time. Leaving home on time, again, going out, eating out, these are like mini projects. Sometimes we don't even dream of them. Okay, I may be exaggerating a bit, but yes, to a lot of extent this was true. And if this was not enough, then we used to tell earlier, have these courtesies. I used to tell my wife good night before I went to bed. Now I just say good luck. because that's how every night was turning out to be. Second one, second big change is you feel that there's a lot of tiredness. No one is fresh in the house when you have a new arrival. But what happens is, how do you complain about tiredness to your wife who is probably a lot more tired than you? So you can complain about your tiredness to your dog, your father, your mother, but you can't complain about anything to your wife who was supposed to be your friend till that point. Marital stress, my favorite one. Okay, now again, women being inscrutable, we understood that, and but your wife is going to be jealous. In most cases of you, every time you leave home without a child attached to your body. Okay, she is going to mentally file away all your time on social network, phone, all your trips to the hardware store, and basically all recreational activities, and she will use them at the right opportunity, and you will have no clue what hit you, and you will be unprepared. I mean, that is the woman power. So these are some of the changes you will experience. Then you will also see that you will lose out a lot of friends. How does that happen? Well, your friends who don't have kids, they don't fit into your plans. Okay? And you don't fit into their plans. So with passage of time, the bond becomes weak. And of course, if your friends also have 2 kids and you also have 2 kids, probably you're not making any plans. You are busy with your own life. So this happens. Okay, now all is not gloomy. There are some positives too. First of all, you see that your family comes closer. Men and women both will make peace with their mother-in-laws, not because they love them overnight, because they need all that support. Second, you will see that men they really learn from their experience. Earlier, all the doctors in the night shift of Al-Noor and NMC knew me by name. It's a dad who keeps showing up in the middle of the night, who has no clue what's happening to his child in the middle of the night. Well, this doesn't happen anymore, because experience is a good teacher. You know now what's happening, you know in your mind it's not a big deal. You again make a lot more friends. These are not the friends, your friends no longer are the people you like. They are actually the parents of the children, your children like. So this is the new equation of the new reality. This is how you network. And finally, the most important positive which you will see is, you're not the first time father. Your wife is not the first time mother. But it's your child number 1 who is now an elder brother or an elder sister. And they are in a new role where they are a guide, a mentor, and they are a role model. That is something which you will really cherish forever. And I think that's what makes all this really worth it. All in all, with all these experiences put together, your second time journey is going to be a lot more different, unique. Of course, it's going to take a toll on you, but I think in the end, it's really worth it. Lastly, as I conclude, number 3, I have to really express my deepest, sincerest respect and really, I really respect those guys who even dream about number 3, having a number 3. Okay, just like in Toastmasters, where you guys have some taboo topics, in my house, number 3 is a taboo topic. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Sriras, for the wonderful speech. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Shiva Kumar. Toastmaster Shiva Kumar is our newest member to our club, and today he is doing his first speech, the icebreaker. Toastmaster Shiva Kumar is a software engineer, and he is working with Mussafah data systems as Oracle Apps Senior Consultant. Today, his speech topic is Lessons Learned. And Toastmaster Shiva Kumar is being evaluated by Toastmaster Rajesh Kaur. So let us first welcome Toastmaster Rajesh Kaur for explaining the evaluation criteria.
Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmasters, a very warm good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
Today, Toastmaster Shiva Kumar will be delivering his first speech, that's the icebreaker. So we welcome him for his first speech. The objectives of the speech are to begin speaking before an audience, to discover speaking skills that you already have, and skills that need some attention. So this will be your first speech to your fellow members and club. And the summary of this speech is you have to give some important information about your background, interests and ambitions. And you can use notes while doing the speech. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Rajesh, for explaining this role. Now let us welcome Toastmaster Shiva Kumar for his speech.
Lessons in the life will be repeated until those are learned. And the most valuable lessons are never taught. Those are experienced. Toastmaster good evening, fellow Toastmasters, a warm good evening. Let me tell you a couple of experiences from my life to know why lessons in life are so important. To start with my childhood, I was exceptionally a dull student when I was in my class, when I was in my childhood. I was always used to get either first or second ranks in my class, but of course from last. But I never used to get any scoldings from my parents because I never gave them any chance of looking at my assignment papers or progress reports for the time. In fact, I was doing their job of signing on my progress reports many a times. And I bet you, I was very well. So, in my childhood, whether I study or not, there was a regular activity for me which I never used to forget during weekends, especially on Sunday afternoon. It was to clear all my assignment papers for the week on various subjects so that those are not noticed by my parents. And on one such Sunday, actually why Sunday? It was the only holiday for us. And why afternoon? That was the time when my parents used to have a deep nap. So I steal them and I was used to crash them. On one such Sunday, when my parents were sleeping, I slowly entered the room and I took my papers and I was trying to go out. Then, suddenly there was some big sound from outside. It was actually Diwali times. I forgot it was Diwali. My mom got up and she looked at me. I was right in front of her with my papers. She asked me what those papers are. I said, these are some papers for making some rackets outside. She didn't believe in me. She grabbed those papers and looked at those papers. Those are actually assignment papers of various subjects. She started reading out the marks and I was so much embarrassed, I should say. Maths, 2 out of 25. Science, 3 out of 25. Hindi, 1 out of 25. Telugu, my God, it was 0. And she looked at me and gave a tight slap. I still remember that. On that day, I decided to be one of the outstanding students in my class. What I did, I studied hard. And we had an exam in the next day afternoon. In fact, I bunked in the morning session to study well and give a best shot in the exam. I gave the exam, results came. This time, I got 5 out of 5. Nothing much changed. Then, I learned the first lesson in my life. That is, not just one slap from mom is enough to be successful in life. It takes many more. In fact, I had many more. After this, couple of weeks after, I came to know that my grandparents were visiting our home and they are going to stay here for 6 months. As they were leaving for good to Hyderabad, they were staying here. So, my grandfather was one of the dreadful person I have in my childhood. Because of his over-discipline, dogmatic style of looking at the children, and inscrutable strategies at the children, which I at least was not able to understand. So I immediately went to my mom and I said, Mom, I will not be able to tolerate if he is going to stay here for 6 months. And you know the response she gave? If that is the case, then you leave the house. So he came. I was right-handedly caught in front of my books to my grandfather, and he asked me to read out one of Telugu poems. Telugu was the most difficult subject for me in my childhood. I started reading out, and it came as a disaster. You know the punishment he gave me? He asked me to by heart one Telugu poem a day. One full Telugu poem a day is too much for my capacity then. I said myself I would never do that even in my dreams. Grandpa, remember. But in reality, I had to do it. I had to learn all the Telugu poems every day. Something very interesting happened during the course of time. What happened is, I slowly developed interest in Telugu subject. Not just in Telugu subject, in all the other subjects. I slowly became one of the outstanding students in my class. Then I learned the most important lesson in my life. That is, neither mom's slap nor fear for grandfather makes you successful. It is your interest and dedication which can take you to any longer, any goal that you dream of. And it was true. I followed that throughout my school days, college days, and I was all successful. In my final year of graduation, I got selected for Samajam computers, which was on one of the IT leading companies. And I joined as an ELT entry-level trainee programmer. And I had to undergo a very intensive training. It was so intensive that I couldn't even sleep for 4 or 5 hours a day. In such a tough situation, I should say this is one of the toughest situations, toughest phase in my life. Though it was toughest, I made it. And I came out as one of the leading ELTPs of the batch. So friends, it is all about learning lessons and being successful. That makes you whether you are a hero or a zero. And I hope we are all heroes in here. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva, for his wonderful speech. Now let us see the timing report for the teachers. Toastmaster Arun.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Toastmasters Puran Rai to 16 minutes 31 seconds. Toastmasters Shiraz Agwani to 7 minutes 6 seconds. Toastmasters Shivakumar to 6 minutes 25 seconds. All are qualified to voting. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Now we have the voting.
Yeah, what is
The ballots are there.
Yeah, you continue.
So all of you can vote for the speaker. Our next item is the evaluation for the speeches. Before calling the evaluators, let us see the timing rules for the evaluation. Let us see check with Mr. Arun for the timing rules.
Good evening, Toastmasters. The evaluation speech allotted time 2 to 3 minutes 30 seconds grace period. 2 minutes the green light. 2 minutes 30 seconds the yellow light. 3 minutes the red light until the speaker is finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arun. So let us move on to the evaluation part. Let us welcome Toastmaster Ramraj for his evaluation of Toastmaster student speech.
Toastmasters of the evening, fellow Toastmasters. Once again, good evening.
Good evening.
How many of you have clumsy hands? No, I put in the other way. It's a very better word for this clumsy hands, like butterfingers. That looks to be better, right? The word instead of clumsy, butterfingers, even today I do not know the meaning of this word butterfingers. But it seems that even right from birth I have this problem. So, Toastmaster Kiran Roy, he has taken this project, just entertaining the audience. The most difficult thing to entertain the audience is like laughing. It's very most difficult thing, any Toastmaster speech, 15-20 minutes entertaining audience is not a simple thing. It's the most toughest speeches I heard about since the beginning, for a long time. So give a big round of applause to Toastmasters. Like every speech, there is an opening, body and conclusion. He has narrated about 6 incidences, right from the restaurant where he started breaking the glasses. But one thing you notice that his wife was very helpful, not like other wives. Like my wife, if anything happens, I have to help myself. But here, this is a different way. But he was always there to help him. That's a good thing about his wife. And as a speech, every speech has got some room for improvement. Like you started the speech with various incidences which creates jokes, and of course it was laughing mood created with the audience. And another thing what I observed this is like your speech was little monotonous. So at least if you add some more sprinklers, that would add more life to this audience to laugh. And another thing is your speech. Well, body language expressions. Most important thing for a speech like entertaining speech, making the audience laugh. The most important thing is your body language, voice modulation. These are the things if you put more efforts for the body language, like every actions you can, there is a lot of scope for improvement, lot of scope for adding body actions, voice, as well as the voice modulation, as well as the language. For if you improve a little bit on these 3 things, I think you can do a much better speaker as an entertainment speaker. Okay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramraj, for the introduction. Now let us welcome Toastmaster Divya Ayappan for his evaluation of Toastmaster Shira's speech. Please.
Fellow Toastmasters, Toastmaster of the evening, especially Toastmaster Shiraz Agwani. Good evening. Good evening. There are 2 main points I need to evaluate as per his previous speech. The main points was, which is evaluated by John Thomas, was opening and conclusion, and vocal variety and stage moments. These are the points Toastmaster John Thomas recommended for his improvements, and as per my evaluation, Toastmaster Shiraz Agwani improved a lot, even if I did not say or watch his last speech. The subject itself, navigating fatherhood again, which was very attractive and new to us, I think, a special subject, and it was his personal subjects, which was an attraction. The subject was an attraction, and he opened the subject, and it was make some curiosity among the audience. Very interesting, and he was successful in that point. Then the conclusion point, that was also making curiosity and appealing the audience, those who are going for the 3rd child.